What's going on with independent filmmaking right now? I hear it's pretty much still dead, even though the economy is sort of recovering.
It's dead in California. They're making independent movies everywhere else. I just did 4 movies in Michigan.
Wow.
I cast the leads here, but unfortunately for the rank and file actors that live in Los Angeles, they kind of get aced out of the...
Because they're doing local casting.
Because they're doing
Michigan.
a lot of the local casting in Michigan, and we just did one in Iowa, and I think we're doing another one in Iowa or in Kansas next year.
Right. Is that because of the tax credits?
The tax credits, because the production costs are a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just producing a movie in Los Angeles can be very, very expensive. And it shouldn't have to be so much more expensive than anywhere else in the world, especially because the industry's here, the actors are here. So everybody's sort of like when they went to Canada, during the actor strike and decided they could make movies cheaper there. With the strikes, we basically taught Canada how to steal our business. And now what's happening is the rest of the country is realizing that because California's so expensive, that they offer cheaper production cost, tax credits, then people are going to come flocking to them. And that's what's happening now.
How does that work for you as a LA-based casting director? Do you have to give some of your work over to the local casting director, or do you collaborate?
Well, yeah, they still do the local casting. Sometimes I go to where the production is, and I'll do the location casting. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I cast the leads in California, and there'll be somebody local that will do the rest of the cast. Kind of frustrating sometimes because I don't always have control over the entire scope of the cast, and sometimes it's really crappy artists and other actors in other states. But for the most part, if we cast a really great lead cast here in California, then we just have to hope and pray that they'll do a good job there.
So definitely actors, if they can be a local hire somewhere else, for instance, if they're from Michigan, let their representative know that they can be a local hire.
Yeah, that's true. It's still a little bit harder because everybody likes to see the cast when they're casting, and if let's say you're from Michigan originally and your mom and dad live in Michigan and you could work there as a local, it's going to be kind of hard for me to convince the director to hire you and you'll be a local hire rather than just, see people in Michigan for the local people. Also, there's a lot less of a hassle.
Yeah, I had a friend actually keep her Atlanta agent and fly to Atlanta for local casting, which was interesting, because most actors fly into LA, but...
That's true. Well, I mean, it's happening now a lot that people will fly to other places, or they'll put themselves on tape and send the audition in. The problem with an actor flying themselves into location is it can be really costly. They're a lot of times because they're low budget or modified low budget movies, that the airfare, the hotel, or even flying in and staying there for a few days costs more than the salary they make. So we just want to bring production back to California.
Yeah.
So we can all make a little bit more money.
But it is true, though, when you're casting leads for independent movies that you're getting competition from actors not only from LA, but from New York, Vancouver, even sometimes London, Chicago. Is that the case?
Yeah. The thing is most actors that work in film live in Los Angeles. Because there are a lot of productions that happen in Vancouver and a lot of TV production. Not so much as it was a few years ago, but a lot of actors actually moved or had dual citizenship, would work in Vancouver. But here's the irony is that we did a movie in Vancouver called I, Robot.
Okay.
And the Vancouver actors could always come right over the border and work in Washington or Oregon. But the ones that lived in Washington or Oregon that wanted to go work on iRobot in Vancouver had to jump through big flaming hoops to get their papers to work there. So, I think we need to be really concerned about the way, and not to keep anybody out or anybody in, or to be sort of selective about who we want to put in a movie. We want the best actors, but I think the United States needs to be more cognizant of how other countries, sort of put up their borders to keep their citizens working, and we don't really do the same thing a lot, and a lot of times we'll get, and for all you Canadian actors out there, I'm just kidding.
It gets pretty political when you think about outsourcing of jobs And we all kind of think about it in terms of manufacturing, but as an actor, that's also
That's exactly right. Is that exactly right? And I have a lot of great friends who are Canadian actors that work here, that even have dual citizenship, that work in both places. And but I would just love to have more work for more Americans in Los Angeles. That's, to me, that's what I think we need to try to get to.